Items play a very important role in the Legend of Zelda series. From aiding the hero Link to fight off demonic monsters, beasts, the supernatural, and even the living dead, to allowing him to expand his adventures and travels in the form of claw shots, teleportation instruments and devices, all the way to pieces of cloth that allow him to glide around the landscapes. These helpful pieces of gear are nothing new to Zelda games, but with each new installment we tend to be introduced to new items, and sometimes see revamped versions of past items, along with seeing relics repeat throughout many games. A fantastic example being the Blade of Evil's Bane, the Master Sword. But there is definitely more than the fan favourites and iconic items like the hook shot, the bow and arrow, and even the fishing rod. In fact, there is actually a lot of items that a large majority of fans don't really know about. This can be down to the item being found in a game that not many fans have actually experienced, being an item that isn't actually used by Link himself, or just being an item that isn't mandatory to collect, which results in some players missing out on grabbing the item. This got me thinking, what are some of the most unknown items in the series, or even just items that you may not know about, know the name of, or even just the usage of? I've done some digging and put together a list of 5 Zelda items that you might not know about. Keep in mind, these are just my personal picks, but be sure to let me know your thoughts and or picks in the comments afterwards. So without further ado, let's dive into some Zelda items you might not know about. Number 5. The Demon Tribe Sword. Kicking off our list, we look to the weapon wielded by one of the series' most loved villains, Girahim. This sassy, strange, but also very skilled demon swordsman is found in Skyward Sword, the first game in the Zelda timeline. Although Girahim is just the creation of Demise and is also actually the blade Demise uses himself, Girahim does wield his own blade, the Demon Tribe Sword. This blade takes on a very sleek and stylish look, very aesthetically pleasing if I do say so myself. It really matches the Demon Lord's personality, an agile and beautiful looking weapon. The sword doesn't really hold any special abilities, but is however incredibly strong for its unique build. Girahim uses it in the second phase of Link's first encounter with him, followed by being used in the second and third battle between the two. To top that, it is also used outside of a direct battle between the hero and demon, as Girahim uses the Demon Tribe Sword to attack Impa and Zelda at the Temple of Time, only to be stopped in the nick of time by Link. The main reason I chose this item for the list is because of how loved the wielder Girahim is. It's a perfect match for the personality, and is never explicitly stated in game what the blade is. There isn't much else known about this weapon, as Girahim is at the end of the day just Demise's sword in the form of a literal demon, but it's still a very cool weapon nonetheless. Number 4. The Ocarina of Wind. As soon as I and many other Zelda fans hear the words, the Ocarina of, we all instantly click in our heads to the Ocarina of Time. But not too long after the iconic and now fan favourite game, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, there came another ocarina. The Ocarina of Wind. Now, if you are a longtime Zelda fan or have even just played some of the older and newer games, you will know that ocarinas, also known as flutes in some games, have actually been a thing in the series for quite a while, even before the game that made them a big deal to the series, Ocarina of Time. However, in The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap, we can find the Ocarina of Wind, one of the many flutes in the series, but this one stands out to me. This instrument is found at the Fortress of Winds, and whilst being a mandatory item to complete the game, I still believe it is overlooked, but also not that well known due to the Minish Cap being of one of the most inaccessible Zelda games due to not being playable on many devices. After slaying the boss of the Fortress of Wind, Mazel, Link will be granted the Ocarina of Wind. The woodwind instrument is then played not long after receiving it on a wind crest, which will summon Zephyr, a bird of the skies who will pick Link up and take him to any other wind crest found in the game. I could have picked any ocarina or flute that isn't the Ocarina of Time, to be quite honest with you, but this one stands out the most to me personally, and I am a huge Minish Cap fan too. Number 3. The Tingle Tuner. Now, some of you may already know about this item due to the wonderful, amazing, and fabulous character it's connected to, Tingle. Yes, the goofy 35-year-old ferryman dressed in a green morph suit who yells out some of the most wonderful phrases such as Yes, this strange but yet lovable man has his own item, the Tingle Tuner. And he doesn't just have his own item, he has his own game. Tingle has multiple games. The item can only be found in the original version of the Wind Waker, which is partially why I chose this item for the list, as you will not be able to find it in the newer HD remake of the game. The item does also appear in freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, but we'll be focusing on the Wind Waker appearance. This odd and honestly really cool item is found in the Windfall Island jail. After we essentially break Tingle out of jail for God knows what he did to end up in jail, I really don't want to know what he did. As a thanks for freeing him, in the original version of the Wind Waker, Tingle gifts us the Tingle Tuner, an item which can be used if the player happens to own a Game Boy Advance with the necessary connection cable. The device can be used to purchase Tingle Bombs, grant temporary hoverboot-like abilities, and even be used for tracking down Tingle statues hidden within dungeons. In the HD remake of the game, this absolute treasure of an item was replaced with the Tingle Bottle, a modern take on what the Tingle Tuner did, which was used to send messages to other players via Miiverse, which now no longer exists. I honestly don't know how many people know about the Tingle Tuner, but I feel as if it is a fairly unknown item due to only being found in the original version of the Wind Waker, which back when it was new, wasn't too well received, which means less people would have been playing the original version. Number 2. The Handy Glove. Now we are really getting into some unknown territory. The Handy Glove is found within one of the most quote-unquote disliked Zelda games. I can't personally comment on how good or bad the game is, as I haven't really played it, but I do know a fair bit about the lore and contents of the game. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, the second game in the entire Zelda series, released all the way back in 1987. Being one of the oldest games in the series, it's a given that there will be some hidden gems and forgotten relics, but as I said in the intro, one of the things I am taking into consideration for this list is how cool or useful the item may be, and oh boy, the Handy Glove is pretty cool. The ability the item grants Link is actually quite odd for the name of the item. You wouldn't expect a glove, or in this case a handy glove, to do what it does. The Handy Glove, when worn, allows Link to destroy massive rocks, boulders, and such blocking the way. It's a similar sort of item to the silver and golden gauntlets found in Ocarina of Time. Clothing accessories that boosts Link's strength, but with the Handy Glove it boosts the ability and power of Link's sword, allowing the blade to break stone cold rock like a hot knife through butter. To me, that gives it a slight advantage to other strength-enhancing clothing, with also being found in an older game, and just generally being less well known to items like the silver and golden gauntlets. Number 1. The Scimitar of Twilight. Here we go. You know there is no getting through one of my videos without something from Twilight Princess being mentioned. This scimitar blade can be found towards the end of the 4th dungeon in Twilight Princess, the Arbiter's Grounds. In fact, it's seen once we reach the dungeon boss room. Upon entry of the room, we walk towards the dead and still remains of one of the best bosses in the entire series, Stallord. Once we reach the base of the pathway leading to the remains, we see our current rival Zant appear. After Zant talks a little about how he is surprised Link is actually still alive, he begins to swarm a ball of Twilight energy, or magic, to summon the Scimitar of Twilight. A long, deathly looking blade with red twilight veins running along the cold black metal. Zant stabs this blade of darkness into the skull of Star-Lord, resulting in bringing the remains of the monster into life. A cool detail here as well is, if you pay close attention, you will see the streaks and veins of twilight shoot from the blade into the skull, running through the skull like ice cold veins. The reason I love the Scimitar of Twilight so much is because of how mysterious the weapon is, along with the fact it looks badass as fuck. This is actually the only time we see the weapon in the entire canon Zelda series. I love the fact that there is no backstory, lore, or information on this weapon, other than Zant is the wielder and it possesses some sort of powerful twilight magic, as it has the ability to animate the dead. It's very unlikely, but I would absolutely love to see this item found in a future title. Hell, even Breath of the Wild sequel would work well for showing off this long forgotten relic. I can imagine us just venturing the depths of Hyrule's underground and digging up an old, mysterious looking blade, to soon realize it is the long lost forgotten relic from millennia past, the Scimitar of Twilight. Though it does fizzle out into pieces of twilight matter upon defeating Star-Lord, so it might not even exist anymore. But it will forever remain as one of my favourite lesser known items in the Zelda series. Thanks a ton for checking out the video, I really appreciate it and hope you guys all enjoyed. I hope this video helped you to learn a new item or two found within the Zelda series. The games are massive and typically filled to the brim with content, so there is always going to be a few things that get overlooked, including items. Be sure to let me know in the comments if you learned about any new items and any more you think are also pretty unknown. I want to say a really quick but massive thank you for getting the channel to 15,000 subscribers. It was only a month or so ago we reached 10,000 and we are now at 15,000. That's honestly mad to me and I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much. A special thanks goes out to all of my Patreon supporters, as your support truly does mean the world to me and allows me to keep making these videos as often as possible. Thank you so much. Again, I really hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas or whatever you may celebrate over this time of year. And until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.